Konnichiwa. Welcome back to the R.I.P. Reading is Phenomenal AP Lit podcast. I'm your host, Maggie now, and we're getting right to it today in Chapter 3. And just really quickly, Chapter 3 is a weird, uncomfortable chapter. Again, it hits on the idea that, the economy drives everything here. Not only do people exist to consume products, or at least the lower classes only exist, or the lower caste exists to consume products, but also people are looked at as products to be consumed. And this is why this chapter is weird, because, I guess it's not weird, I don't know, it's just, talking about it, but it's all about freedom of sexual relations, and it's all about, actually how adults are expected to be promiscuous. And so the resident controller of Western Europe, who's one of the 10 controllers in the world, Mustafa Mond, is speaking to the director's students. And actually, I don't know if I hit on this before, but the director and all the students refer to Mustafa as his Ford ship, or our Ford. And also they measure time as AF, which means after Ford. And this is referring to the time is measured after the invention of the Model T. So I'm pretty sure they're using Ford, or Henry Ford, as their god, almost because of this invention. And I think it's more than just the Model T. I think they're using it as the assembly line. And the assembly line is really, they didn't bring this up in the book, but I imagine this is capitalism, assembly line. And the assembly line is really what this society seems to be trying to recreate on a more complex scale. In making a car, on the assembly line, I've never worked on a car assembly line, but let's just say it works like this. You have your people who make the frame of the car, you have your people who deal with the engine and the actual mechanics of the car, and the people who detail the car or whatever. I don't know the exact jobs, but just a basic view. And then those same people who made the car, then the people who make the car, it goes out into the world and people will buy the car, who have the money to buy the car. And basically in this society, they're the different castes, or the different parts of the assembly line. And I would say the lower caste can kind of be compared to the frame makers of the car, the ones who put the tires on and the paint. Jack, I'm trying to make a podcast. Please stop talking. Now I don't know where I was. The ones who put the tires and paint on the exterior, and they're necessary for the actual outside of the car, but compared to those who make the engine and the brakes and the transmission, who could be represented by the upper caste, they aren't what, the lower caste aren't really what make the car run in that way. The upper caste are. Also, you could also say the workers who make the engine and the brakes get paid more, just like alphas and betas are allowed more personal freedom compared to deltas, gammas, and epsilons, who, in the, metaphorical assembly line get paid less and in reality have less intellectual freedom and less ability to choose what they want to do. Or, just at all. And so then the assembly line, they create the car, and just the people create an economy. And then the people who can afford the car will drive the car. And the people who have the intellectual freedom and power to benefit from the economy will benefit and derive power from it. But basically, people are really just seen as parts to an assembly line, and sexuality is just another part of that line that government can control and also use to lessen personal ties by kind of the idea of promoting promiscuity, or yes, how do you say that? It's just one way that the government can decrease the value placed upon personal bonds, because it's frowned upon to have a long-standing partner, and really it's personal bonds that really allow people to express themselves and have more of a loyalty to their Jack, stop screaming! Have a loyalty to themselves and their friends rather than loyalty to the state. So, the government's trying here to decrease value on personal bonds and increase loyalty to the state. And so that's just another kind of what last year in AP Lang we read 1984, and it was all about increasing loyalty to the state in different ways. So Thanks for listening. I don't know if you could hear my brother in the background, but I'm going to tell him to shut up because he's being really loud. But yeah, hope to see you next time on the next episode. This was episode 23, I think. Okay.